Welcome back. In the today's lecture, I am Mr. Ruhide Jadhav from the Department of Chemistry, KTHM College, Nasik 2. Student, in the last lecture, we have seen supercritical fluid extraction, advantages of supercritical fluid extraction, instrumentation, offline and online extraction, and application of supercritical fluid extraction. In this today's lecture, we start fifth chapter, that is mass spectrometry, LCMS interface and applications. In that today's lecture, we discuss introductory part and also see the thermospray interface. Interface technology introduction. First that before that we see learning objective of interface technology. After learning these topics, that is interface technology, a student aware of the range of interfaces that have been used for LCMS. Also, a student understand the principle of operation of each of these interfaces, in particular with regard to the way in which they achieve compatibility between high performance liquid chromatography and mass spectrometry. Also, a student aware of the experimental parameters both for HPLC and mass that affect the way in which the interface functions and the effect that these have on the analytical information which is generated. Also aware of the types of analytical information that can be provided by each of these interfaces. Also to be aware of the strength and weaknesses of each of these interfaces. Let us see introduction. The need for a more definitive identification of HPLC elutes than that provided by retention times alone has been discussed previously, as have the incompatibilities between the operating characteristics of liquid chromatography and mass spectrometry. The combination of the two techniques was originally achieved by the physical isolation of fractions as they eluted from an HPLC column, followed by the removal of the mobile phase, usually by evaporation and transfer of the analyte into the mass spectrometer by using an appropriate probe. Let's start the thermospray interface. Although other interfaces has advantages for particular types of analyte, there are also clear limitations to their overall performance other than thermospray interface. These limitation to their overall performance, their lack of reliability, and the absence of a single interface that could be used for the majority of analytes, did nothing to advance the acceptance of LCMS as a routine techniques. Their application, even with limitations, did, however, show very clearly the advantages that were to be gained by linking HPLC to mass and the efforts of many to find the ideal LCMS interface were intensified. The thermospray interface overcome many of the problems encountered with the moving belt and direct liquid introduction interfaces. And with the advent of this, LCMS became a routine analytical tool in a large number of laboratories. This was reflected in the fact that this was the first type of interface made available commercially by the majority of the manufacturers of mass spectrometers. It was also, that is, thermospray interface is also the first of a number of interfaces, with the other being electrospray and atmospheric pressure chemical ionization, in which ionization is effected directly from solution within the interface itself. That is, the mass spectrometer was not used to produce ions from the analyte, simply to separate them according to their mass to charge ratios. Ionization involving these interfaces may be considered to comprise the following four stages, with the differences between the techniques being associated with the ways in which these stages are carried out. These four stages are: first, the formation of droplets from the HPLC eluate, charging of these droplets, this is second stage; third stage, dissolution of the droplets; and fourth stage, the formation of ions from the analyte. Thermospray may be defined as the control, partial or complete vaporization of liquid as it flows through a heated capillary tube. A thermospray system is shown schematically in this figure 4.6. Here, schematic of thermospray LCMS interface from applications literature published by WEST, that is Applied Biosystems, Foster City, CA, and reproduced with permission. This consists of a heated capillary through which the liquid chromatography elute flows, with the temperature of this capillary being carefully controlled to bring about around 95% vaporization of the liquid. The vapor so produced act as a nebulizing gas and aids the breakup of the liquid stream into droplets. The droplets so formed undergo dissolution as they traverse a heated region of the interface, and ions are formed from analytes contained in the liquid stream by means of ion molecule reactions, chemical ionization, and or ion evaporation processes, depending upon the properties of both the liquid stream and the analyte. When buffer is present in the mobile phase and the analytes are largely ionic in nature or give perform ions in solution, the ion evaporation mechanism is thought to be important. In the majority of applications, however, it is considered that ions are formed in solvent-mediated charge ion processes, either by gas phase ion molecules reactions or by proton transfer at the interface of the liquid droplet and the gas phase. If complete vaporization of the mobile phase stream takes place within the capillary, this latter mechanism is not possible and so provides a further reason why it is essential to control carefully the heat input to the capillary. Gas phase ion molecules reactions involving ionic analytes would lead to their neutralization and consequently these have to be minimized. This requires careful control of both the composition and the concentration of any buffer used. The ions formed are then directed through a sampling cone at 90° to the direction of vapor flow to minimize the chances of blocking of the entrance to the mass spectrometer into the source of the mass spectrometer, while the vast majority of the vapor generated by the mobile phase is removed by pump directly opposite the capillary. Slightly downstream of the end of the capillary, usually to be found a filament and or a discharge electrode, which provided secondary methods of ionization, while opposite or slightly downstream of the sampling cone is a repeller or retarding electrode. Their use will be described in more detail later on. Control of the vaporization process, that is, the temperature of the capillary, is of crucial importance. Optimum performance is obtained with around 95% vaporization of the liquid stream. Too much heat results in vaporization occurring within the capillary with deposition of analyte, and if operation of the interface under this condition is continued for any length of time, blockage of the capillary. On the other hand, if insufficient heat is applied to the capillary, vaporization does not occur and liquid flows from it and no spray is obtained. The optimum temperature is dependent on a number of parameters, among the most important being the composition of the mobile phase and its flow rate. Good temperature control is therefore required to obtain the best conditions when gradient elution is employed. The in true thermospray, charging of the droplet is due to the presence of a buffer in the mobile phase. Both positively and negatively charged droplets are formed due to the statistical fluctuation in anion and cation density occurring when the liquid stream is disrupted. As with the interfaces previously described, in volatile buffers are not recommended as a blocking of the capillary is more likely to occur. And if temperature control is not carefully monitored, and for this reason ammonium acetate is often used. When buffer is not present, that is when normal phase chromatography is being used, thermospray ionization is not possible, and a filament or discharge electrode is used to generate a plasma in which charge ion type processes, that is CI type processes, can occur. In addition to allowing ionization under this condition, it is found that the ionization of compounds may be enhanced under conditions in which true thermospray can operate. The filament operates in the same way as a filament in chemical ionization by generating reactive species from solvent molecule in the high pressure region of the source. These ionize the analyte by ion molecule reactions. The discharge electrode, which may also provide more stable conditions when the mobile phase contains a very high proportion of water, provides the electrons required to generate the reactive species by means of continuous gas discharge. The CI reagent, that is CI the CI reagent, that is charge ion reagent gas plasma, is either generated by thermospray ionization if buffer is present, or as described above by the filament or discharge electrode. In many cases, a protonated molecular ion, that is capital M plus H plus in bracket of M plus H plus, that is protonated molecular ion, is the only ion observed in a thermospray spectrum. But if ammonium acetate buffer is used, depending upon the relative proton affinities of the species present, an ammonium adduct, that is molecular ion capital M plus NH4 plus may be the predominant ion. In addition, clusters may be formed with components of the mobile phase. Although the thermospray ionization process involves less energy than conventional CI and very little intense fragmentation is usually observed. The presence of ions due to the elimination of small molecules, for example water, methanol and ketene, is not unknown. These latter ions are usually of relatively low intensity when compared to the protonated or ammoniated species, but the mass differences involved normally aid the assignment of the molecular weight. The sampling cone is orthogonal to the direction of vapor and ion flow, and ions are therefore extracted into the high vacuum part of the mass spectrometer. The extraction efficiency, particularly at high mass, can be improved by incorporating an electrode in the region of the sampling cone. If located directly opposite the sampling cone, this is known as a repeller, and if slightly downstream of the sampling cone, an ion retarder. This is known as an ion retarder if located slightly downstream of the sampling cone. The term repeller will be used henceforth of both position of the electrode. The voltage applied to the repeller is of importance as it has been found that at high potentials fragmentation of ions can occur. Since thermospray ionization inherently produces only molecular species, the ability to bring about fragmentation and thus derive structural information from an analyte is of great advantages. Fragmentation occurs because the repeller voltage increases. the kinetic energy of the ions not only making collision induced dissociation, that is CID, capital CID, more likely, but also allowing endothermic ion molecules and solvent switching reactions to occur. Although theoretically an alternative MS mass spectrometer MSMS, there is a fundamental difference which may result in a spectrum generated using the repeller being more difficult to interpret. This is because the repeller causes fragmentation of all of the ions present in the source. That is, for example, protonated molecular ion M plus H plus in bracket of capital M plus H bracket complete plus and an ammonium adduct, that is in bracket of capital M plus NH4 outside bracket plus, that is ammonium adduct. Because of the repeller causes fragmentation of all of the ions present in the source, that is molecular protonated ions and ammoniated adduct, ammonium adduct. Solvent adducts, etc. And the relationship between the ions formed is not always clear. It must also be remembered that repeller-induced fragmentations like MSMS does not produces an electrospray ionization spectrum, and while interpretation may be attempted using the same principles, library matching unless against repeller fragmented spectra is not valid. It should also be noted that the effect of the repeller is both compound dependent and mode dependent, that is thermospray, filament or discharge dependent. It is necessary prior to developing any analysis, therefore, to determine the optimum experimental conditions for the analyte of interest. This is schematic of thermospray LCMS interface. Here, to vacuum pump for solvent removal. This is vacuum pump for solvent removal. This is vapor thermocouple. This is repeller. Filament. This is filament. Thermospray vaporizer. This is thermospray vaporizer. Tip heater. Here, tip heater. Corona discharge electrode. This is corona discharge electrode and mass spectrometer. All these, their mechanism I already told. Next, summary. The introduction of the thermospray interface provided an easy to use LCMS interface and was the first step in the acceptance of LCMS as a routine analytical technique. As a routine analytical techniques, it soon became the most widely used LCMS interface of those available in the mid to late 1980s. Advantages. The interface was much easier to use than the available alternatives. The interface can operate under a wide range of HPLC conditions. Flow rates of flow rate of 1 ml per minute may be used, and mobile phases containing high percentage of water can be accommodated. The interface can allow next advantages. The interface can allow unequivocal determination of molecular weight as a thermospray spectra usually contain ions simply from molecular species with little fragmentation being observed. The addition of next advantages, the addition of a discharge electrode and a filament to the thermospray source widens the range of compounds that may be studied and HPLC solvents that may be accommodated. Optimum ionization conditions for a particular compounds need to be determined empirically, and it is essential that switching between the possible ionization modes may be accomplished easily and quickly. Next advantage is, since the sample is ionized directly from solution, it is protected from heat, and many thermally labile analytes may be studied with little or no degradation. Last advantage is, the sensitivity of the interface is compound dependent, but generally high sensitivity is possible by using one of the ionization methods available, that is thermospray, filament and discharge. Later and last, disadvantages of thermospray interface. First, if a buffer is present in the HPLC mobile phase, and this is essential for true thermospray ionization, it should ideally be volatile, and this may necessitate modifying existing HPLC methodology. Next disadvantage is, decomposition of some thermally labile analytes is observed. Third, the interface is not suitable for high molecular weight greater than 1000 Dalton analytes. Fourth disadvantage is, the reproducibility of analytical results is affected by a number of experimental parameters and is sometimes difficult to control. Next disadvantage is, the formation of adducts may confuse the assignment of molecular weight. Next disadvantage is, usually little structural information is immediately available, and repeller induced fragmentation or MSMS is required to generate this. Spectra generated by repeller induced fragmentation, because fragmentation of all ionic species generated in the interface occurs, are often difficult to interpret. And last disadvantages of this thermospray interface is, the interface generates a significant amount of solvent associated chemical noise at low mass, which makes this region unusable for analytical purposes. Since the ions generated from the analyte are molecular species, this is not usually a problem but must be considered when spectra are being interpreted. These all are the thermospray interface. Thank you.